Hello, welcome to
they're
That Is
all the numbers
Wargamer.
we know.
I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to the show. That's right, it's the Age of Sigmar Monday show, yet to be named, 4 years later. Not sure what to call it. But we're joined by...
Nathan Prescott show.
Yeah, we thought about the Nathan Prescott show, but we actually ran some metrics via our social media generator, and a lot of people thought that they would be getting a very different product for something called the Nathan Prescott show. It's not that we don't like the name, it's that the audience will think that they're getting something else. So back to the drawing board if anyone's got an idea for one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. We are joined by the aforementioned Nathan Prescott. Hello, Nathan.
Good evening.
Buongiorno.
Hello.
Buongiorno. James, don't stop me now because I'm so good at nerd stuff. Hey, James.
Evening.
Evening. I'm back from an undisclosed location via undisclosed times and wearing undisclosed amounts of undergarments. Dan. Hey, Dan.
Hello, I am definitely wearing pants.
None of us think that that's true. We're also live in front of a studio audience, the Twitch chat, including Speckles, The Hobbles, MJ Pegasus, JJ, who just resubscribed, Guy Zaidi, Pinecones DK, who just resubscribed. Hello, everyone. Tom Whitbrook, who resubscribed. What's going on? Today's show, we're going to be talking about two things. One, the news section, which is... It might drag on a bit.
Oh no!
Yeah, I love how much rage was in the chat after that one. Just there was immediate boos, F's for respect. No, don't give him bits for that one. Don't give him bits for that one.
Thanks.
He doesn't deserve it.
Thanks, Kenny Lowell, for resubscribing. Love you. Hope you're well. Rob Kelly, what up? And then also, we're going to be doing an Age of Sigmar tier list. Little bit of a twist on the tier list, though. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the armies in their competitive nature, but we're going to be tiering them 3 times because we're efficient like that. Why make 3 videos when we can make 1 badly? Is what I've always said. That's what I've always said 3 times. So the competitiveness of the army, how easy it is for a new person to play, and lastly, but most importantly, how fun it is to play against. What are you laughing at, James?
Dan's terrible 3-1. It's like the
Never
Spice
mind.
Girls.
Move on. No, nobody tell Rob about it. Don't clip it. Let's just keep going.
Clipped it.
When 3 becomes 1.
I've got a button now for clips. Hey, Aggression, Rollical Wargaming, hello. How long you been holding on to that one, Rob? Ages. Why was there no stream yesterday? Spent the day writing that. That's what I took the whole day off yesterday to write that one joke. Is what I could. Anyway, I'd like to talk about the news. I want to talk about the guys. I want to see how the guys are. But also, dragons are extremely good guitarists. Did anyone know that?
Don't.
Because they're really good at scales. Let's go. It's going to be a fun show.
The thing that I find disappointing is that I know you're winging it.
Nice.
Just log off.
Nice.
Damn it, he got me as well. Now I'm doing it.
I hope I don't get flamed by the chat. Right.
You're gonna have to claw your way back from that one. Okay, stop. Move on. We've done it. It's enough. Stop it. It's already dead.
Right, James. How you been? What's been going on?
Yeah, I'm good. I am a little tired today. I had a super busy weekend. I spent 2 days of my weekend at the UK Games Expo, which is basically just like a big nerd game convention.
And how was it? Talk to us about it.
Yeah,
What
really
happened?
good.
What was going on?
So it is. I think it's the 4th time I've been. I think maybe 3rd. So it's like a big convention.
Okay.
So the first year when it came, it's just down the road at the NAC. The first year when it came, it was actually pretty small. So it was just one hall of the NAC, some shops, some people selling stuff. And what you get is like a bunch of the like online retailers turn up and have a stand. And then you get some random people who like have designed a board game that's going on Kickstarter, or have designed a board game that they've like self-funded and they're selling that on a smaller stand.
Okay, fun.
And then over the last, I think it must have been 3 years. Over the last 3 years, it's got like bigger and bigger. So it went from 1 hall to 2 halls to 3 halls. So it's been just absolutely huge. And it's always taken like 2 days to get round. But this year, because of COVID, they stripped it right back. So it was back to one hall. The space between all the stands was bigger. But it was really good. It was really good. I spent probably too much money. Between me and Meg, we brought like 8 board games, I think.
Okay.
And saw 2 live shows.
Oh wow. Okay, what live shows did it? Live shows?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's a live show?
Yeah.
Like D&D or something? Or
Yeah, so they have like a bunch of themed shows. So I took Meg to see a show I've seen several times, which is a show called The Dark Room. And basically it's a guy called Jonathan. And he does just everyone remembers the Fighting Fantasy books, right? We all remember those.
Yeah.
So he does that live. So he made like this metric thing that comes off a projector. There's 4 colors, and he just shouts and abuses people and makes them make a selection live in front of people.
Wait, so
that's pretty good.
So he's just like a real life Twitch streamer, but in real life.
Yeah, he did it. So he did it pre-COVID, and I'd seen him several times, and it was a really interesting experience because obviously COVID hit, and he lost his business because he's a performer. So he moved it to Twitch. So it was a really interesting experience to me because there was lots of like in Twitch jokes because there's only so many times you can do that show, I would imagine, on Twitch every single day. So there was like in Twitch jokes and Twitch characters, and then lots of people who'd never been to a live show but have watched him for like a year and a half. So that was interesting. We did that, and he does once a year at that convention. He does a Dark Room Till You Die. So the show's normally like an hour, but this one is technically endless. So it either runs till he's tired, or the audience gives up. So we did, I think 3.5 hours. And it was like, so we got in at like 9 and it had gone 12, and he was just like, oh, like it's late, like, are we calling it? And like 50% of the audience was like, yeah, let's call it. And then 50% were like, not a fucking chance. He was like, okay then, looks like we're carrying on. I was like, cool, I'm gonna crawl slightly out the door. So we escaped.
I saw a show like that at a festival once. It was like I was walking back from somewhere, the headline back towards my campground, and I just heard noise coming from a tent. This is for those who know it in Australia. It's called the Woodford Folk Festival. It's a spectacular time. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I stuck my head in. There's a guy like in a full-on, but like beat the fuck up jester costume. Like he's been wearing it for a million years. Can't remember the bloke's name. And the show just nothing ever happened. He just had all this shit, and he just kept saying that the show was about to start. And I watched it for about 2 hours, and I was like, what the fuck is it? But it's mesmerizing. Like, you lose yourself in it. And people came in and left and came in and left. And I found out later that, like, because I was just talking to someone next to him, and apparently this is what he does. He just goes and doesn't stop until there's no audience left. And so I was like, oh. And I watched for so long, and there was a point where I was like, there was just me and one other person. He's just still going at it like a frog in a sock. And then eventually I was like, okay, it's like, I checked my watch. I'm like, it's 5 a.m. and I haven't slept. So I'm like, I'm out. I'm going. And by that point, there were more people who'd come back in. And I'm like, who is this man? He's a weapon. What was his Rumpel, I think was his name. And I believe he said I have no idea, but apparently he legally changed his name to it. His last name was like Goodfellow or like Jolly Goodfellow. Maybe his name was Jolly Goodfellow. I can't bloody remember. Anyway, I watched, long and short of it, while coming down off of an intense high at a festival, I watched a clown for about, I want to say 7 hours.
That's class. I still want to watch 2 people play Age of Sigmar on mushrooms. Still want to do it. Still, if anyone wants to do that battle report for me, I'll subscribe, is what I'm saying. Dan, tell me you would not subscribe to that. That would be...
I want to be the player.
We just need one more, baby.
Not going to lie. I'll be like, sweet, the bad moon does what?
Hey, I'm in.
But surely you want to be on mushrooms as well while you're watching. Then you really get into it.
I would sponsor that. If 2 people want to volunteer to play at the TSN Arena for a live match that we live stream. I'm in. Yeah.
I mean,
Nathan's in.
Yeah.
Okay, you get to play Nathan. Is
Right. Great guy, great game.
Great. This game's about to start for 7 hours. All right, just DM me because Nathan's in. Nathan Prescott, how you been? You been well? You been okay?
yeah, been good. Been hanging out at the TSN arena for a couple of weeks now, trying to fix a few things.
Well, specifically the
yeah,
downstairs.
been good.
So the TSN arena is on the second floor of a building. Nathan, you've been fixing the downstairs section, not the upstairs section.
Yeah, and when we say fixing, it's very, very loosely, the loosely whatever thing of that word. We're just vaguely fixing bits of it.
Okay. Again, I'd like everyone to know that it's a great place to come to the TSN arena. The downstairs is not where you would go, which is where Nathan is vaguely fixing. Yeah. You also played some Age of Sigmar, Nathan, past week? I assume yes.
Yes, I've had two games.
How were they?
Against Lumineth Realm Lords and against Seraphon.
How were they?
Yeah. So, good. Yeah, I enjoyed them. I think we managed about 3 turns with the Lumineth Realm Lords, playing against the Foxes and the Sentinels. It's very hard to get hold of any Foxes, and to be honest, to get hold of anything in that list. So I think I might have done a total of 11 wounds to their opponent's army during the course of the game. And they healed 5 of those back. So no, even more than that. I reckon the only things that were dead were 5 wardens. I was playing with my gits.
Okay.
Yeah, the moon killed 3, I think, and then the rock guts threw a troll and killed 2 of threw a stone and killed 2 of them. That was it. That's all that I killed, and they killed basically everything except for the trolls. It was like. Yeah, it's pretty hard to get hold of them. We were level pegging on scores-ish until about turn 3, and then after that I didn't have much of an army left, so it was pretty much going to be, that was it, game over from there.
What did all the...
And then I played just...
What did all the damage?
Yeah. The Sentinels and the 4 Foxes, they're just always... Yeah, the Foxes just pick on something. The Sentinels pick on something. And then the Foxes can just charge in. Like 2 of them can charge in. And then obviously because they're Lumineth, you activate both of them. Then they pile away. And they shoot you, basically, with their close combat weapon, which is just the shooting, isn't it?
Yep.
Really. 2 shots or whatever. 2 attacks. And then they pile away. And then you can only pile in 1 inch. And their thing is 3 inches, so they pile away like 2.9 away, shoot you, and then if you've got a 1-inch weapon, you can't reach them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
You're tagged in, and then it's very frustrating if you like to hit things, which I tend to like to do. So yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But it's very. It's definitely a very interesting list to play against. I think the scenario obviously was we played Feral Foray, which is like the old Scorched Earth where you can burn your opponent's objectives. So I think the scenario definitely favored him as well. Whereas if we had played one of the other scenarios where you could fight in the center of the board, then I could probably castle up a bit better, and then he wouldn't be able to tag me so much and bounce around, and I'd be able to get hold of some of the stuff, and you would have to try and get to the objectives, and then I could fight him, get up close and personal. But in the other one, everybody's like spread out far away. That's it. You can't do anything about them really, and they've got teleporting and all of that sort of stuff as well. So yeah. Pretty it's a pretty good list. It's an interesting one to play against. definitely. I think it's one of the top lists out there, to be honest.
Oh wow!
That because very, very good at doing the battle tactics. So yeah, it's just whether some lists can bully it off of the primary objectives. But definitely, it's very really, really good at doing battle tactics because you can just pick a battle tactic and it pretty much guaranteed it can do stuff.
Would you say? Now, Dan, I know you're a bit of a lore master, so I'm just going to throw this one to you a little bit as well. How, in the 80s, 40k was really set up as kind of like in tongue-in-cheek, ironic look at, like, fascism and other stuff like that, yeah? Would you say that the rules writers had a little bit of fun and being like, lol, in England, we generally tend to try to hunt and catch foxes. How funny would it be if we flipped that on its head and we made it so you could never catch the fox? What are your thoughts?
Well, I actually think that, I understand that, and I see where you're coming from. I have a different background of thought in that.
Sure.
I think that they had listened to the song "What Does the Fox Say?"
Oh God, I hate that.
And they realized how frustrating and awful that song is just to be in the vicinity of. Like, if the airwaves are reaching your ears and bringing that song, you most likely want to take a knitting needle to your frontal cortex. So I assume that what they did was, what's the most annoying thing that could happen? And the answer is, have a fox saying "What does the fox say?" things that you can never catch and kill to silence its utterings. And I think that for me is more, rather than you stare into the fox long enough, the fox stares back at you. All I hear is it's the crazy frog of the Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms.
Okay, all right. Dan, have you had a good week? Just a quick one. Have you been well?
Yeah. I've spent the majority of the week getting ready for the next show that I'm working on, and I've spent a lot of it in the sun, didn't pay attention, and now I have a righteous sock tan. Like, my feet look like they've just been undercoated with white, and there's a distinct line, and then it's pretty much just a deep, deep tan. So I can never take my shoes off around people ever again.
Is that because, even though we talked to you about it before, you're still wearing socks with your Crocs?
I just, you know what? I eliminated the Crocs. I just walk around in just socks. It seems
Just
to hurt
socks,
people
nothing
more.
else.
Yeah, walk around on a building site
Yeah.
in the dirt, in the mud, in the rain, in just socks, and watch people just cry on the inside.
All right, let's get on with the news. That's enough bump. Let's do this.
What about
I
your
played
game?
Nathan Prescott at Warhammer. I traded up my... I took 9 Razordons instead of 9 Salamanders, and they fucking suck. Loads. Like, they just couldn't. But I baited Nathan Prescott into a trap. That's what I fucking did, yeah? And I fucking got him. His 6 Rock Guts, and I tried to get Curse off. Didn't get it off. Then I fucking got the old priority roll, tried it again, got it off, Curse, and I fired 6 Razordons, and they just barely killed 6 Rock Guts with Curse on. In fact, no, I had to charge them as well. So as much I had this great idea. I was like, I'm going to do so much damage, and then it turned out, and I was like, nah, it's not very good at all. But I mainly just didn't want to take Salamanders against my friend because it was just a shitty move, and I don't really have much else fully painted because I'm still waiting for the Cruel.
And you don't have that many friends either, so you can't afford to lose one. They're
Really
pretty
important I keep
there.
the 3 friends I have. Like, it's super important. So that was pretty fun. We had some fun times with that, I thought. But yeah, and I'm a little bit despondent, if I'm honest. Although before we get to the news, just with the Crawley boys, like, I think it's pretty clear now that there's going to be a wave 2 of Cruel Boys, in my opinion. Like, in about a year's time, maybe 18 months' time. Like, I feel it feels like there's not enough. Otherwise, based on, like, having seen the Stormcast stuff today, Stormcast are getting, like, loads of multiple units in, like, you have loads of, like, battlefield roles that have, like, you can have, like, there's 6 units for each battlefield role, basically. And Cruel Boys are just kind of like, I guess they're bringing some much-needed shooting into Uruk's wholesale, which is quite nice. But I feel like the Crawley Boys are like thematic enough; they should get their own release, especially if you compare the size of the Stormcast release, right? So, like, I don't know, like I'm a little bit despondent because I'm kind of like, oh, is that going to be it for the Crawl Boys? And then, but that's it. But I'm still excited because I'm super excited about Crawl Boys. So, yeah, that's it. I started building some Hobgrots yesterday. Hated it. So I just keep thinking, why? Why am I building them? I'm building them because they're here, but I'm never going to paint them because they suck. So I keep seeing people on Twitter being like, this is my Hobgrot recipe for painting. I'm like, give a fuck. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, who in the world is like, can't wait to paint up my 40 to 60 Hobgrots? No one is what I'm going to say. Anyway.
I think we should fund a charity thing that makes you have to paint at least 100.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I refuse. To get out of my life.
Money's going to charity.
What you've been banging on about this homebrew book that you wrote for 1,000,000 years with like grots and fake dwarves and stuff in it. They finally give you some models, and here you are saying you don't want to build and paint
because
them?
they're rubbish. They don't do it.
Seems a bit reductive of you.
Right. Anyway, let's get on. I'm going to make a note for Scrivo so he can do that time stamping thing for the YouTube thugs and for the podcast homies. So 27 minutes in, let's start talking about the news. We fucking nailed it, boys. We nailed it. Yeah.
It's only taken 1.5 years.
What? There's definitely a two-part Cruel. There's definitely a part 2 of Cruel Boys coming, where we get a full release of just Hobgrots. Yeah, does anyone else not think it? Yeah, they don't get the poison.
Isn't that the Chaos Dwarf release?
Why do the sprues of 4 Hobgrots get bits like to make another 10? Says default. Yeah, everything's bad when you play pinks, baby. That's true. That's true. At the on Crota? Yeah, you got it, baby. Right, okay, let's talk about the news, shall we? And this is pretty big news. I mean, it's exciting for everyone. Dragons, more dragons. We did an hour on dragons yesterday. We don't need to do it again. Not yesterday, last week. So if anyone would like dragons, go listen to last week's Slut Dragons. We talked about a lot. Pete the Dragon, we missed out him. That was the thing. So there's going to be more dragon riders. Can we just talk about the... did anyone watch the video for the introduction of them?
Yep.
So out like Dan, I mean, this is your profession.
I watched it and I thought Rob's going to be annoyed.
Dan, come on. Dan, where you at with this?
I genuinely, as a concept, really quite liked it. I just think that they could have gone harder.
Do you?
I think that if you're going to have a joke video like that, do the whole video on horses, and then at the very end just be like, nah, all jokes, it's dragons.
Yeah. Also, why release the video at the same time as the article? That's...
Yeah.
You release the video and then the article later. Is that not...
Yeah, I think that was the missed opportunity there for me, is if you dropped that video a week before the article and then had like this whole thing on horses and done personally, I would have done things and then had interviews with Stormcast being like, yeah, so tried riding horses, seemed natural, everyone was doing it. Unfortunately, horse spines are not designed to bear the weight of a Stormcast in full plate armor. We have crippled a lot of our equine steeds just from mounting too aggressively. They also don't handle lightning very well. And I don't know if you've ever teleported to battle on the back of a roasted horse. It's not a fresh smell. There's a lot of hair to burn. That would have, and then right at the very end, just a little tidbit of a dragon. And then a week later, let us see the dragons. But instead, it's like, hey, funny horse thing. And also, here's all the stuff. So you don't actually need to watch it.
Yeah, anyway, it's not very good. And also, do you know what always upsets me? Is they just don't introduce it with any narrative. I want some fucking story. I know, lame. I'm a nerd. What of it? I've read a book. I like Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I occasionally think about fantasy things. I know, what a fucking crime that instead of a jokey horse video, I want some actual fucking story. about the nerd game I play. I know it's a bold statement, yeah. Like, why didn't they do something with a bunch of rappers? And then at the end of it, Dan, they could have flipped it, and they'd have been like, dragons are good at this because they spit fire. Right.
I will just have if I met one of the dragons, I would just have one question, and I'd be like, hey, during the Age of Chaos, when just the realms of all things good that you represent were just absolutely abused and torn asunder, where were you?
In an egg.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping.
Like what did you have better to do?
Sleep.
Just like you're like, oh no, we're an ancient. No, but they're ancient dragons.
No, these are new ones. It says in the article. Okay, let's talk about it. So blah 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 blah. If you take a Knight Draconith as your general, so a new character dragon, here it is right here. So a character atop a dragon, sorry. Then you can unlock an all dragon army. That's right. So you can have dragon battle line, which is pretty cool. This model is frickin' sweet. Like, heckin' brilliant, muchos goodos. It's everything, like, maybe ignoring the Stormcast because he's a bit chunky. Like, just swap his head out, maybe do a different shield, like, do a different torso. Go on, James. What do you think?
It's weird that he took Robert Gilliman's sword, though.
No, it's completely different. Gilliman's sword's fiery from the bottom.
Yeah, it's this sword from the Lord of the Rings model.
This sword, as he's flying along, he keeps putting it down near its mouth, and he's like, Jeremy, could you just? It's gone out again. And then the dragon's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, aha, flaming sword. And then 30 seconds later, he's like, Jeremy, hey,
I like the fact the dragon's called Jeremy.
Buddy. I'm so sorry. I really need this. It's been a rough
I don't know if
winter.
I can take flaming sword seriously after Thoros of Myr as well. Like, just some drunk fella just continuously setting his sword on fire. You're like, actually, bit useless, if I'm honest. Yeah?
Didn't save his life, did it?
No.
Yeah, so.
Did not help him out.
I think it's badass as well. Like, what the flaming sword and the kind of high pony that the Stormcast helmet has going on as well is it gives it a really cool feeling of motion too, which I dig. Like, I can see why they've done that. Like, it's a really nice design element to give it like that vibe that it's kind of soaring through, and there's a bit of wind whipping through there. Even if it does mean he constantly has to lean down to poor Jeremy and be like, buddy, what I'm going to ask.
Intern Matt pointing out the fact that you instantly cauterize any wound that you do, saving the person you slice in some ways. Helpful is what I'm going to describe it as. And Nathan, I know you're not a fan of the Dragoons. Have these changed your mind?
No, not really.
Okay. I think these look... Well, go on.
They're so-so. Yeah. I mean, I suspect when the rules come out that... I know in the storybook, Kragnos went around and virtually defeated the whole nation on his own. But I suspect when it comes to the table, Kragnos will probably not be able to take on one of these, never mind all of them. So we'll see.
Shit. Yeah, I agree. This guy's definitely got a 3-up save. Let's put that out there, shall we? Right. So, I mean, I think it looks like a class model. James, you're the Stormcast guy. You not excited about it? Big fan.
I think like it's cool as well to just be like, oh, I'm gonna have an army of like 7 dragons.
Yeah.
They're prettier than Speckles' dragons and probably easier to transport because those models are the worst thing to transport.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm still not sure. I'm not sure about the flying bases.
That's
on
the
them.
flying stands.
Yeah,
that's super fair. None of us like the flying stands. As someone pointed out in the chat earlier, HMS Banksy, good point. Why no massive staircase to lean on? If I pay £100 for a model, I want it to be 75% basing, like the recent models. I think that's a really fair point. So yeah, I think that
definitely need a big stone.
Yeah, you can't stick it on the base. I think that's true. But then that's nice because it gives you loads of options of how to like model it. I think is the kind of key point. Do you not think? And they're very like demigryph knights, sort of. Not demigryph knights. I don't mean that. Hippogryph knights, the old Bretonian ones, right? They got that vibe. Yeah, which is cool. So no one's a fan of the flying bases, but they look good. Also, I'm just going to say, not a huge fan of the paint job, but, like, I get it. They're, like, Azurite dragons, you know. As soon as you turn them into, like, more classic red, I'm, like, all over that jam or something. What?
Whoa. Red dragons.
All red all the time.
Or would you have... Oh, but Smirkanoff was green.
But I want red. This isn't... What's this? Pale blue
Okay.
azure? I don't want that. Do you?
This is a weird colour, but...
So,
I would. Nathan and I were having a quick chat before the show, and I genuinely dig them. I'm absolutely going to be looking at putting one in my city in there. I think the one thing that I would have liked is these dragons look very dragon-esque. You know, like they tick all the boxes of a dragon, which is cool. Again, very, very cool, beautiful models. I'm pretty excited to build one. But what I really have liked in the Mortal Realms is every allegiance when they've designed it, they've really created unique images for the things they create, if that makes sense. Like they haven't done the stock standard very much on it. Like you look at the Mega Boss on Maw-Crusher and things like that. They've really lent away from the traditional and kind of gone unique. And I think these dragons look very traditional, which is probably the goal.
But
I
they
would have
look
liked
good,
to see,
though.
They do. I just would have liked to see a little bit more of like a Mortal Realms take on a dragon rather than just we did a really fucking good dragon, which is awesome. But I really enjoy seeing them when they do the Mortal Realms version of things. That's kind of what I miss.
Yeah. I mean, and someone's pointed
like a
out
vulture.
Yeah, that's what Private says. Do you know, they could have been better if they were all vultures. I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So Kurskar says, I heard the opposite from most. They think they're too far away from traditional. That's an interesting take. They're quite small, I guess. They really remind me of an MMO mount. Like, this is the new World of Warcraft, like, Mount Dragon skin or something like that. I don't know. I think it looks class, and I think it's going to look really sweet-ass on the tabletop, personally. So this is the character guy, and he's got a moustache, which is pretty fun. And then if you take him, you unlock, let me just get this right, Storm Drake Guard. Now, there's two pictured in here. Do you think that they're a unit of two or single one models, like, as battle line? I think that's
two lads.
What, you think two in a unit, or you think it's...
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Two in a unit.
Two in a unit. That's pretty cool. So, like, if you were taking 3-min battle line, you would have, like, a general, and then you would have 3 units of 2 dragons as minimum. Like,
yeah.
Depends if they count as a monster as well.
I mean, yeah. Like, well, I mean...
Yeah, because they'll lose it, won't they, battle line?
Well, they won't lose the monster keyword, but what they'll lose
behemoth.
the behemoth key roll. Yeah, keyword roll. Battlefield roll. Yeah, I mean, I think they look ace, and if the tabletops of the Mortal Realms are full of these, I personally am all for it because I think. But just a quick point for everyone: never the sword and always the lance version, obviously.
Yeah,
Axe.
for very obvious
Axe!
reasons.
Yeah, just re-equip them all with axes.
No.
How?
Everyone.
How do they hit you with the axe? How do they hit you with the sword?
Throw it.
It's the
Like
same
a
as that
Viking.
Yeah.
bloody.
Give them a
Scarlock-
gun.
the-
They're not going to get you with an axe or a sword. Give them a gun.
Give them a crossbow bolt gun. Where are they?
That was the thing that always upset me about that big corn dragon, like Scarlock the Skull Host. The dude on the back had 12 attacks with the stubbiest little axe you've ever seen. And I'm like, every time he goes into battle, he like has to dismount and walk up. And then apparently he just unleashes the Alabaster Yak 24/7 because he's got the strongest biceps and forearms in the game. Goes like blah, 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 12 attacks and then gets back on board.
That annoy you more than the fact he looks like a potato and costs £300?
Because he's in a
he's
corn
not in
army.
anything. He's not in anything anymore.
corn.
They can't sell him and you can't use him, so he's in nowhere. He's just in a lot of sad people's. There's also Galgotha pointed something out in the chat. Is it Galgotha? Maybe, or it was Gorkamorka. Pointed out something about these flying dragons. A good time to mention that the Magnet Baron, no idea who that is, has magnetized acrylic rod flying bases. and he uses them for his Caradron, so you should 100% go check those out, right? I'm not sure what any of that is, but that's fine. Personally, I'm excited. Personally, I don't think they look very big. Also, really excited to maybe do some kit bashing, right? Fuck some of them up a little bit, like, take the Stormcast off, throw them in the sea, stick a Varangard on top of that, yeah? That's pretty cool, I think. Having some, like, Varangard dragons, mix it up. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that would look quite cool.
Yeah.
You could potentially, if they're the right base size, maybe Demigryph Knights. You could just get yourself a ton of them and do some Demigryph Knights. So you could just do some super fun stuff with these as models if they're the right size. It looks like the bases are large cavalry bases, is what I'm going to say. That's what they look like. So the same base as a Varangard, same base as a Blood Crusher on Juggernaut. So I think that's pretty cool as well. But yeah, in my opinion, if you don't go for the Lance, you're a wrong'un, is all I'm going to say.
I'm just going to build some with swords now to annoy you.
You're going to hate it. You're going to hate it, bud. Like, it doesn't look anywhere near as good. Do you think? What do you think?
No, probably not. I think, there's that weird thing, though, isn't there? Where, units, even old units, the lads have lances and then the captain always has a sword. Like in the Dawn Riders. There's that weird thing. But I think, the lance probably looks better, and then you're just like, oh, this is a sword because it's better.
Yeah, 100%.
Or this is an axe because these are Viking dragon riding
dudes,
pirates.
Anyway, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for all the new Stormcast players. A little disappointed for all of the old Stormcast players because these probably replace concussors and all the other kind of on Draka line guys. Also, why does the Star Drake not make these guys battle line?
Well, so if you go back up though, so where does it say that thing? Because where's the battle line thing? If you take a knight, it's down.
Yeah, the Knight Draconith. If you take a Knight Draconith as your general.
Yeah, so I was intrigued. I guess that's probably just that dude, but I was like, I wonder if it's a keyword and we end up with it on the big dragons, that hero, and then it would make sense to stick it on the Star Drake. But it'd also be nice to see this next to a Star Drake to be is it big? Is it small?
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I think it's. I don't think it's that big, personally.
I reckon they're as big as Reichner.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the Grim Hailer, yes, around that size. I don't think they're any bigger. It's a bit of a shame that they don't really show you the scale, but I guess that's to stop 3D printers and other people ripping them off and stuff.
They've showed no scale for any of it. Really.
Can't you tell from the dude on the back?
Yeah, I guess so.
You kind of can, and they're showing a lot of scales, really. Oh God,
this is my least favorite show, just ever in the world.
Anyway, I think this is great. I think this is cool. I think it's nice. I think the only thing really to mention is that obviously Stormcast is going to become such a fucking massive book at this point. It's just going to be a lot of fucking models. And
some of it's going to go away, I guess. It has to.
No, I don't think it will. They're just going to firstborn marine it, like Primark saying that. They just won't. You'll have all of the good abilities and spells will only affect the new stuff. Probably is what they'll go. Rank them on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay. Dan, James, and Nathan, to finish this section off, the new Dragon Dudes, out of 10, where you at?
Okay. Which one?
You first, Dan.
No, I mean which drag?
The whole lot. The whole lot.
Feelings.
The whole lot.
I'm gonna go a reptilian 7.8.
Too low.
7.8.
Okay, too low. All right, that's fine. Nathan, I'll jump to you first.
Okay, I reckon he's 7 too high. I'm going to give him 0.8 out of 10. No.
Okay, all right. Why? Is it because they're not vultures? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, they're not vultures. I'll give them 4 out of 10. They look. The general guy looks a bit bleh. The other two look all right. I'll give them 5 out of 10. There we go. I'll be on down the middle. That's what they are.
Okay, and then my man James, what number are you giving him?
An 8.4.
8.4. You're all
Yeah.
okay. I'm giving them a 9. I think they're great for what they are. I think the riders are a bit meh, but like it's nice to see like some traditional fantasy basically. Like I think Games Workshop, like I don't know why they're going back on themselves. They're like, hey, we're gonna reinvent fantasy. You're like, fucking all right, crack on. You've got like £1 billion market share and you're more expensive than Google. Fucking do what you want, lads. And they're like, actually no, fuck it. We'll do what a 14-year-old would draw. Let's go. Let's do that instead. I've changed my mind. Yeah, but I'm that 14-year-old. I'm like, hell yeah. I read about these in loads of stories. I mean, good luck protecting that via IP, but I'm in, is what I'm saying.
Can we do one more fun game?
Yeah, sure,
Thanks to
please.
Owen. Can we guess the price of 2 in a box?
£45.
Oh, you went way lower than
2
I
in a
was.
box.
Yeah. Everyone's
I
silent.
reckon
Someone else-
75.
£73, 40.
Huh?
I reckon 160.
Pounds.
That's what I'm going like. No, not pounds. Jesus, I don't know what your economy's like over there.
Really,
Christ.
really fragile.
Really not great. I reckon like Canada / the US / Australia, they will be seeing probably like Canada, Australia will see around the 160 mark. That's my 140, 160.
But you know, like whenever I say £45, I'm talking about like at discount from a retail and not from Games Workshop Direct.
I'm changing my mind from £73.40 to £69.69.
Thanks, Nate.
That's the price.
Thanks. That's the one. Yeah.
Good to know.
I hope they're not too expensive, because they look cool, right? Like anyway,
Yeah.
and they look wicked. Anyway, big fan of the Dragons. Big shout out to G Dubs. Some other quick bit of news is we're waiting for the FAQ 2, the Boogaloo. That's the other piece of news for the Age of Sigmar community. We don't know what that FAQ is going to be. There is a scuttlebutt, a rumour, a coffee shop eavesdrop that there is in fact going to be an Age of Sigmar 3 FAQ post the one we had straight after the launch, where we get some clarity. We're hearing Gotrek nerfs, not sure if that's the case. And will we or will we not get any effects on kind of save stacking or something like that? We're not sure, so we'll see. Really hoping they don't make any sort of chronomantic cogs war scroll change, because I'm making a video tomorrow and I don't want them to fuck up me having to redo the video.
You're making a whole video just on cogs.
No, I'm doing that. No, I'm starting a new video series.
I like the idea that you just do a video on cogs, please. 25 minutes at least.
Okay, all right, that's fine. But anyway, so that's just a piece of news, just for everyone to keep your eyes on. But they put the old FAQ back up today, thanks Azrael. So they did take the one of the FAQs down, but we have heard that there's going to be an additional follow-up FAQ, which is nice. There are some things that probably need addressing and maybe some balancing stuff, but we haven't seen what these new battle tomes like yet, and I'm sure they're going to be very powerful when they
When is the app
Balanced and
coming?
fair.
Also, other news, of course, we talked about this last week, is the app. Dan, you missed this. You know how the app for the new Age of Sigmar app was coming out with Dominion? They announced that, well, no, they didn't. They've quietly not said anything. In fact, they've just gone back to the article that said it was coming out with Dominion and changed it to later in the year.
Right.
Right, so
Do you want to ask us when in the year?
do I want to ask you, when in the year, James?
No,
No. I want Dan to ask us when in the year.
You already told me. Later.
Did they specify which year?
No.
They did not specify which year.
It's a good piece. A good point. He's really nailed us to the wall on that one.
Shit.
Thanks to, did someone say chickens for donating £3.69 to the show? Very much appreciated. And also Warhapedia has been updated, just for everyone at home, just to keep your eyeballs on that. So warhapedia.ru has been updated. So Dan, that's something to keep your eye on. And also don't forget that the Azir app is now starting to get out of date, which is actually genuinely really difficult, but don't worry about it. That's not a problem.
And it also has generally been out of date for about 6 months.
Well, for writing lists, yeah, but like you don't realise how much you use it. Like me and Nathan played a game.
I use it all the time. I
yeah,
cry about
I'm gonna cry about it. Like, there's gonna be a game when all the in 6 months' time, we're all gonna be like, they were like, "What's your like?" You won't be able, like when you just sat at the train station with your mates. Yeah, you're out on the lash. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the kebab shop, and someone goes, "Do you have any shots Razordons do?" You'd be like, "Fucking, I do not, but let's look this motherfucker up." Yeah, you start looking, and then you won't be able to do it. Yeah, like.
No, because what you do now, Rob, is you go to the website, you click on the product, you scroll down, you flick across to the downloads tab, you download the PDF for the what. Well, then what you do is you put some dice up your bum, you fart them out, and whatever they roll, that's how many shots it gets.
Right. Anyway, so sad news on that. We'll pour out. But the Warhammer Plus is only a month away. So maybe it'll be launched with the Plus. It'll be launched with the Plus, is all we can hope. Thanks to Anthorian for subscribing for the first time in the world. Get your Plus emotes in the chat. I'm not going to subscribe to anything. I mean, I've got to subscribe to Warhammer Plus because obviously that's what I do for work. But like, probably only for the painting tutorials. It's probably what I'm going to be in for. Nothing else. That's it. Just the painting tutorial. Yeah. I just want to learn how to paint real well, is what I think. And I'm sure there's loads.
Doesn't Duncan have an app yet?
Duncan has his own paints. Duncan's got his own paint range.
Oh, buy me some of them. Are they in dropper bottles?
Dropper bottles. Yes, they are.
Oh, that shows how much attention I pay.
Plus. Okay, right. So.
Yeah, it doesn't make it better the more you say it.
What? I'm a blues.
Blues.